Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD Offroad. This model is finished off in Terra, and it has an MSRP just over $54,000. Now this is powered by the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's also paired to the 6-speed manual transmission. Pumps out 270 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. That power is primarily sent to the rear wheels. However, this also has the 4-wheel drive system. It weighs in around 4,600 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in around 7.5 seconds with a top speed of 106 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 18.2 gallons, and you'll expect to see 19 miles per gallon in the city and 23 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 131.9 inches. Its overall length with the short bed is 213 inches. It has a width of 80, a height of 76, and its ground clearance measures in at 11.5 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling for this model, it has a very nice design. You'll notice a large upper grille with plenty of cutouts. There's also a sensor in the middle for distance pacing, which this manual is equipped with. There's also rigid LED fog lights in the lower section, along with LEDs for the lighting, which have a nice dark housing to them. You'll notice too that the front of the fender flares have some cutouts to provide additional cooling. There's parking sensors up front too, and up underneath there is a skid plate with TRD stamped in that to give you that underside protection. And then there's some very nice lines that come down the hood. Now, as we work our way to the side, there's plastic for the fender arches. You get a really nice set of two-tone TRD wheels along with the all-terrain tires. This particular model does have some upgraded options, so it has the steel sliders or running boards you could use them for to give you some protection if you take this off the pavement. There's also a turn signal on the body-colored mirror caps there. And then with the 5-foot bed, I think it has a really nice design. You can opt for the 6-foot bed if you'd like a little bit more space. And then there's the Tacoma badge with the line in the lower section that is very closely resembled to the previous generation. And then in back, this has LEDs for the lighting. There's also the backup camera, Tacoma stamped in the lower section there. You get body-colored bumper end caps along with all the parking sensors. This can tow right around 6,000 pounds, 6,500 pounds, probably what you would expect for a mid-sized truck like this, just depending on the items that you have. And then you'll also notice the ARB recovery points on both sides, and there's also the jack points right here. So if you're off the pavement, you need to lift up the vehicle, you have those readily available. Now with this model, in order to gain access to the cargo space, just pull on this handle here, and it does have the soft opening tailgate. This model also has a bed liner, or this mat here, which is nice. You have some tie-down hooks. You have extra space along with a 3-prong outlet, and then all of the tie-downs up top as well. And then you get a little bit of storage with some auxiliaries on that left side. With the 5-foot bed, as I've owned 2 Tacomas and I'm about to own a 4th gen with the 5-foot bed, I think it's plentiful. With a 6-foot bed, if you're doing some overlanding or you have camping gear, it might be necessary. But for me, the 5-foot bed seems to work very nicely. Now, in back for this model, you have some storage in the lower section. There's also TRD, you have the grab handle, of course, and then with this model being the base engine, you can actually flip these seats up where you gain additional storage. It goes all the way to that passenger side there, so very beneficial, especially for a smaller truck like this. And then you do get a grab handle to help you enter and exit. Now, with any mid-sized truck, it'll be a little bit tight. I'm 5'10", honestly, pretty comfortable in the back. You have cup holders, some auxiliaries, that is about it there. And then at my height, I have maybe 2 inches of headroom. The seats are pretty upright. I could ride around town and be comfortable. Again, it's tight. If you need a lot more space, you go full size, of course, but for the sizing, you might be able to fit a car seat in the back, and you can at least have 2 people back here comfortably. Now there's the electronic sliding rear window there, and that is about all of your amenities. You do get a little bit of storage behind those seats if you need it. Now up front, you have 2 areas for storage, so you can place your phone or smaller items up top and drinks in the lower section. And then this does have power seats forward and backwards, and then they are also power for your recline and incline, which is nice. And then as we hop in, this model has the very rare 6-speed manual transmission. You do have a clutchless start, which you can use, but for now I'll just put my foot on the clutch and the brake, and we can start this up. So this has a really nice design for the steering wheel. You'll notice on the left side, there's all the cruise, distance pacing for your adaptive cruise. You have mode and tuning. And then on the left side, there's volume, Bluetooth commands, and then you also have the controls to go through the digital gauge cluster. So you have 3 different settings that you can go through. You'll see 1, 2, and 3. And if you hold on OK, you can actually customize each one of those with the middle screen, the screen on the right side, and the screen on the left side. So you can have 3 shortcuts basically set up, pre-programmed, and ready to go. So you have quite a lot for that digital gauge cluster. Now on the left side for this model, you have adjustments for the pitch of the headlights. So let's say you lift this, you want to pitch the headlights down, you can adjust those as needed, so that way with the higher height, you're not blinding cars in front of you. You have this control here for brightness for the gauges, automatic headlights with traction control, power outlet that's in the bed, 3 auxiliary switches that are pre-programmed so you can hook up exterior lights, compressors, whatever you may have. There's also a light for the cargo light in the back. You have 1 air vent, and then this also has the JBL audio with the removable dash speaker here, so you can take that with you and then lock it back into place. And then with this giant 14-inch screen, you have a good bit to go through. Now it is pretty simple. You have navigation, which is nice. You can get into music. When your phone is paired, you can gain access to your phone. And then you do have a little bit more information that you can go through. I am buying a 4th Gen Tacoma. I'm getting this screen here. Mainly it's just for my phone. So I'm gonna pair my phone, be able to see it. You can also pull up some camera angles too. If you get the right trim level and off-roading, you can pull up some of those, which is nice. Now you have air vents underneath that, along with volume in the middle. And then this particular truck has the single zone. So you have fan speed along with temperature. You do get heated steering wheel, heated seats, and then you have where you like the air to go, along with a few other toggles on both sides. Now this also has wireless charging, so your phone can actually stay right there. You do have some auxiliaries, your e-brake. There's also a trailer braking system, so you can use that as needed. And then with the manual, push this all the way to the left and up, and you have a massive backup camera. You have a few different guidelines that you can adjust and 2 different angles there to see. And then you have the rest of these 6 gears. Now there's also the 4-wheel drive selector, so you can get from 2 high to 4 high and 4 low by twisting the lower dial. And then up top, you have drive modes on the back, and then the front button is for the intelligent manual transmission. So this is basically going to automatically rev match when it is turned on. And then with the driving modes, you just twist on that dial, and you have 3 to choose from here, depending on the throttle response that you would like. Now this truck also has a locking rear diff, the sway bar disconnect, that clutchless start. You have cup holders, storage in the armrest, a locking glove box with additional storage up top and Tacoma. And then you have your rear view mirror along with a sunglass holder, dome lights. Sunshade is manual adjusting, and then you have controls for the sunroof up top as well. And then pickups really don't have any blind spots, so you can easily see over both shoulders. So as we set off behind the wheel now for the manual Tacoma, if you are new to our channel, I have a 4th Gen Tacoma coming very soon. It's going to be in Terra, and I have the TRD Offroad. The only difference is that I'm going with the 8-speed automatic because I want the hybrid engine. So with the manual transmission, you are only able to get it with the base engine here, which is still pretty adequate with the amount of power that you have. And it is pretty cool to be able to drive the 4th Gen with the manual transmission. I've been able to drive the 3rd Gen with the manual as well. I wasn't a huge fan of that transmission in that truck, just because of the gearing possibly, and just, it felt a little bit sluggish in first gear startups. So a lot of the times in driving those trucks, I would try to start in 2nd gear just because of that. This feels completely different, like a new 6-speed manual for this truck. First gear seems like it has a good bit of get up and go to it, which is very nice. And even though I'm not getting the manual, I have a manual sports car, so I like manuals. This may be the only manual 4th Gen that I am going to see, so I knew that I had to film this and at least experience what this is like. So I put it back into 1st gear, and we'll get up to speed here. Now, if we had the snorkel, we could hear those turbo noises between shifts, which I think would be really cool. But just a gradual acceleration, and we're already up to speed. So pretty impressive even with the base engine here. And if you are looking for a manual, Toyota is still going to give you that with the Tacoma, which I think is really cool. If you plan on doing some rock crawling, things like that, really hardcore off-road stuff, or you're just a manual fan in general, it's a good option to go with. I do wish they had it available with the hybrid engine, just if you wanted more power, because you have to go with this engine to get the manual transmission. So that's just my biggest kind of issue with it. I wish you could get the hybrid with the manual. I think that'd be even cooler to see. But this is a great truck. Very similar again to the truck that I'm going with. I'm going with the higher package, however. So this has basically the middle grade package, which is about $4,500 or so. I'm choosing to go with the one that's about double the price because I want the synthetic leather seats. I want ventilated seats. This only has heated seats. You get the camera system, you get the power tailgate, some other goodies like that. Some of those I don't want, so I kind of wish Toyota gave you a lot more standalone options. The sway bar disconnect is a standalone option. I believe the sunroof is a standalone option for this model too. And so I think it would be really cool if you could kind of piece the truck together a little bit more, because you basically only have three options: a base, this package here, or the package that I'm going with, which is more of the premium package for the truck. But for the manual transmission, the clutch pedal is super light, and it does have some pretty long gears, as you would expect for a truck. I'm used to sports cars with short throw shifters, so this is a bit long and of a reach, but it's really engaging and easy to get into gear. So from second gear, let's put it into sport mode. Here we go. You can kind of hear the turbo noise there between shifts. It's very faint. Again, if you had the snorkel like on the Trail Hunters, you would be able to hear that a lot more. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the Tacoma, and especially the Tacoma with the manual transmission. Now for this truck, steering is also pretty good, so you have a pretty tight, maneuverable truck for a midsize, as you would expect. And it's very fun to drive. My one other complaint is if you have a tall enough drink in the cup holders here, you do have to move it because of where your arm is with the shifter. I know that's not the biggest deal because you can move it. You have some pretty small drink holders in the door panel there, so you can't exactly move them there. So just depending on the drink that you have, we drove this for about an hour yesterday, and that was my only concern really, was that placement. I think it'd be cooler if they were in front. I believe the third gen, that's how they did it. But definitely a fun truck. It makes me more excited for my truck with the 8-speed automatic, just so that more people can drive it and I just have some more power for larger tires, things like that. Would be interested to see how this does with some larger tires. It could be easier to drive with a manual transmission with 35s. And I'm just going with the iForce Max for the larger tires, towing, things like that. It's just going to have a little bit more power, but this is definitely a fun truck. I'm probably not going to see them often. I think this is more of a specialty order truck that you really won't see on dealer lots unless someone is specifically buying this. But again, it's really cool that Toyota offers the manual transmission still for 2025. But that is going to wrap it up for this Toyota Tacoma TRD Offroad. If you enjoyed this video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.